Hello and welcome to the Harryman Show, episode 72. Today I have a great honor of having a great Phoenix drummer, Raymundo Rascon, joining us. I've known him off and on. He's currently playing in a band called Dope Panic. Great dude to be around. What's up?
Thanks for having me, dude. How are you?
Good. This is a little bit of a thing in the making for a while here.
It has been, dude. Definitely been a fan of the show, dude. Obviously, as a drummer, you've definitely you've interviewed some drummers that have influenced me, and a lot of professional drummers as well, guys that are touring drummers and session drummers. So session drumming is something I've done as well. So it's a pleasure to be on the show, dude. I'm honored.
Yeah. So we're just catching up about talking Phoenix scene and stuff like that. I met you a long time ago at my workplace. I was like, damn, this just got chops. I've seen you in bands like...
Tell everybody what where your workplace was, bro.
I work currently at Guitar Center.
That's right.
I watched you in Bionic Jive a couple times. I'm like, this dude fucking shreds.
Yeah, dude, Bionic Jive was a monster.
Yeah, hell of a show.
Bionic Jive was a monster, dude. And so if we want to just take it back a little bit.
Yeah, it's kind of the first one I've done in a while in person. And it's kind of a pleasure. But let's take it to your origin story. Like, how did it start?
So
I mean, drumming in general.
Playing the drums, yes, no, for sure. So I would say it all started with my grandparents,
Really?
On both sides of the family. So my dad played, he messed around with drums a little bit growing up, but his dad, my grandfather, definitely played drums for the majority of his life. And my mom's mom, my Grandma Emma, she played drums.
Really?
Yeah, she played drums in like a family band with my great grandfather. So it was just meant to be, dude. So but I remember growing up and just rhythm was a thing, you know what I mean? And I understood the intervals of spacing at an early age. So just rhythm and like typical drummer story, dude, just like, pots and pans, pencils, you know what I'm saying? Like anything that would resemble that stuff. And my dad was a huge influence as well. I remember seeing, and it probably started with just watching my dad air drum to stuff like in the truck, you know what I mean? Or when he would listen to music. And my dad grew up, in the 80s. So, 80s hair metal.
So that was always playing in the house?
For sure, dude. So, when we talk musical influences, we're talking Motley Crue and,
Nice.
AC/DC and Led Zeppelin and Aerosmith. My dad's a huge Aerosmith fan. I love Aerosmith. Metallica,
Yeah.
My dad introduced me to the Black Album. I was born in 1990, so just to kind of give you guys some context there, but yeah, he grew up on like early 80s, rock and metal, and I loved it. Phil Collins.
Oh yeah, that's the one that goes.
Definitely Phil Collins. And then obviously, dude,
Have you seen his son play?
Phil Collins' son?
Yeah.
I didn't even know he had a son.
He's playing in Genesis too.
His son's playing in Genesis?
Yeah, he's
what?
really fucking good, dude.
All right, okay. All right, we'll get in that in a minute.
I'm blanking on his first name, but he plays just like his dad. Same setup, everything.
Oh, with the bottomless toms?
Yeah, the concert toms.
Boy.
Yeah.
Atta boy, dude. Yeah, the good nod to his dad, dude.
Yeah.
Like I said, his dad, my dad was a fan of early Genesis and Phil Collins. And then obviously, we got into Rush, dude, and like that was, Neil Peart and,
What album caught you?
Let
me guess, Moving Pictures?
Moving Pictures was one. 2112.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Test for Echo is still one of my favorites, though.
Which one?
Test for Echo.
Yeah, dude. Like bro, I remember they had dropped like a new record. I want to say I was playing Need for Speed or something like that.
I remember. Are you talking about Underground?
Huh?
Are you talking about the game?
Yeah,
I love those games, man.
Right, and they had forget the name of the song, but they dropped a song came up and it tells you what song it is.
Vapor Trails.
It was Vapor Trails,
Yeah.
bro. And I was like, yo, what the, you know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't until Neil Peart introduced me to double bass.
Yeah, and that was his return too, after he took the hiatus for 5 years.
Right.
Yeah, so he started bringing double bass in the setup and the dual hi-hat. Well, he always played dual hi-hat, but that was his intro of I'm fucking back, motherfuckers.
Yeah, dude, no, and that's why he was just on a whole another level. But early growing up, it started there. But one of the biggest influences my dad ever introduced me to was a band called Maná, and they're a Spanish rock band, probably one of if not the biggest rock band to ever come out of Mexico for sure.
Yeah, and I was telling you I had the pleasure of meeting him one time.
Yeah, dude, and I'm super jealous about that, bro. I'm super
nice guy,
jealous about that.
He was super humble. He was just kind of trying to keep it low pro.
No, he's amazing. He's got his own tequila now, which
Really?
I need to see if Bevmo's got it, but yeah, Alex El Animal Gonzalez, bro, and they're very much for me. They're the
police in a way.
Very much Spanish police.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it like that, but I hear a lot of Stuart Copeland in there.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
He always had those setup pictures of his DW kit with the 6 fucking splashes and.
Dude, and listen, dude, I love his splash cymbal work.
Yeah.
His splash cymbal work, and then that's a whole avenue in itself. Because right now, the splash cymbal thug right now, dude, is Gavin Harrison from Porcupine Tree. But that's a separate. Listen, that's a separate story.
Side note, I think Jose Pasilius got me in the splash.
Oh, for sure, him too. No, I forgot about him. We'll get into him in a minute. Listen, let's take it back. We got a lot to talk about.
I'm fucking all over the place.
We're good. We got a lot to talk about. We're both excited. Anyways, Alex El Animal Gonzalez. Okay, so first record I ever heard was a record called Sueños Líquidos, and they had just dropped that, bro, and they were massive at this point, just arenas, right? And then so from that point on, I started getting into the history of them, and then digging into the crates with their catalog, you know what I'm saying, and it goes back to the 80s. But my dad got a VHS tape of Maná Unplugged, MTV.
Oh yeah,
they did one.
Yeah,
okay. And this was the first time of me seeing him play. I've been listening to his music, but this was the first time I saw him play. And bro, watching that,
changed everything.
It changed my life, dude. Because it was don't get me wrong,
well, visually we didn't really grow up in the time of YouTube too, so it was
exactly
a lot of imagination behind everything.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So footage was few and far between. Yeah. You know what I mean? Not that it wasn't out there, but
you had to go seek it out.
Exactly. Yeah. So
it was $40 VHS or whatever.
Right, dude. So it was later as things progressed into DVDs and stuff like that. For Christmas, my dad would start dropping DVDs and stuff.
I still got all my it's old school drum DVDs. I'm
telling you, bro. I do too, bro. So it starts with my Unplugged, and I get to see him play. And he was playing Pearl at the time, and he had this really cool white kit with this. It almost looked like pagan art on it, and it had his on the kick drum head, on the front kick drum head. It had his eyes on it, right, and then it just said Pearl. It was the coolest fucking drum kit I'd ever seen in my life. I was it's sick. And it was, he had the 2 Chinas up here, he had the Pearl icon rack, you know what I mean?
Was he still playing Pisces or Pacey or whatever?
For sure. No, he's lifelong Pisces, dude. For sure. He's not going anywhere. But I saw that kit, and then I seen him play, and just his showmanship, it was just that if I'm going to play drums, that's how I want to play.
Mm-hmm. He plays you're watching him from 360. He plays at every angle, if that makes sense. You could watch him from any angle and be entertained, is what I'm trying to say.
Dude, that's the thing. And, and then, after seeing that, then my dad starts dropping Rush DVDs, and then the Dream Theater DVD hits, and you know what I'm saying? Now I'm seeing...
The Liquid Tension Experiment?
That was crazy, bro. Yeah. That's
Yeah, that was a big deal.
Musician shit, you know what I'm saying? But that stuff started, and then I discovered drummerworld.com, and I saw all kinds of it. Like that changed.
I used to
That
read
changed
every
the game,
single,
bro.
I used to read every single drummer's article. Like they had a bio on there.
Oh, that list was heaven right there, bro.
Yeah.
And then their bio and their pictures of their kit and videos and stuff. Like I discovered so many.
Yeah, it's funny you said that because I would spend like a day at a time just fucking geeking out, fucking.
That was the website, bro.
Yeah.
That was the site. So.
And no, they would take like 2 hours for a video to load. Just shit.
Yeah, you best believe I'm waiting, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, I discovered so many drummers off of that thing. So yeah, it started with going back to Mana Unplugged, right? And so I started seeing all these drummers. But key point to my story.
I'm sorry, I keep veering off.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. I'm gonna keep us on track. So key point to my story was, at the time, when I was growing up and being a kid, I messed around with drums too, but my mom took me to go see this movie called Space Jam with Michael Jordan.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it?
I'm just kidding.
Get your library card ready, bro.
Yeah.
But I walked out of that theater wanting to be a ball player. Okay? And so sports became my focus growing up. And, the drums just kind of it was just like a hobby type of thing, you know what I mean? I mean, growing up, I'd be inspired in the moment, and I'd air drum, and my dad got me my first drum kit when I was like 3 or 4, and then maybe when I was like 8 or 9, got me something bigger, really cheap though, really inexpensive kit, although I didn't know what I had at the time. I had a Ludwig, a 14-inch Ludwig Acrolite snare drum, right? I had no idea what I had.
Go up in price every time I look at it.
Yeah, I had no idea what I had, bro. Right?
Was it the black one or the chrome one?
The chrome one.
Ugh.
No idea what I had, right? And then I played drums in jazz band in middle school. Mm-hmm. Cool thing I did too. There was like an after school program at my elementary school, Palomino Elementary, and it was called PAC. I forget what the acronym's for, but it was basically it was a built-in daycare at your school, right? But you could do arts and crafts. There was a homework period, you know what I'm saying? And then there was like sports and then arts and crafts. And then you pretty much either watch a movie or chill indoors, right? And they had a talent show one time. And me and this other kid, we dressed up as Kiss. And he had that
lick bass or whatever.
Bro, he had one of the most iconic guitars in the world, bro. This is a guitar that is super iconic, but he had that Arizona State Fair pink fucking guitar with you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The blow up guitar, dude.
Yeah, I know exactly.
We've all seen that thing, dude. We've all seen that thing.
Turns into a baseball bat after a couple of beers.
You're damn right, dude. So he had that, right? And I had my drum set, which was a total piece of shit, but it was a drum set. So we dressed up like Kiss. My school principal he was in the crowd, bro. Really? We were just playing with there was just like maybe 15 kids, but he was in the back. And he came up to me after that, and he's like, "Hey, man, you guys, that was really fun." And I'm sure it was more funny, dude, because we played it off. We played a Kiss track off a little boombox stereo on the stage with a stool. We just set the stereo there, and I'm sure we were way out of sync with it, dude. And it was I'm sure it was terrible, dude.
Yeah.
But we dressed up like Kiss, right? And he saw that, and he was like, "Man, you've kind of got
rhythm.
You've got rhythm." And a little while later, the Arizona Diamondbacks, 2001, would go on to win the World Series.
Really?
Against the Yankees, yes. What do you mean, really, bro? You live in Arizona, dog. How do you not know that?
I'm not a sports guy, dude.
You don't play sports ball?
In high school, but that's really about the...
How did you not hear about that? He was like, really?
I grew up in California, dude.
Okay, yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Anyway, they win the World Series. Shortly after that, the principal comes up to me. His name was Manny Ramirez. I'll never forget him. He comes up to me And he's like, hey, he's like, I want to talk to you about something. He's like, so Tony Womack, who, if my memory serves me correctly, was an outfielder for the Arizona Diamondbacks the year of 2001. And he was super fast. He says Tony Womack he's promoting a book reading program. And it was basically a contest where, like, whatever class read the most books or whatever, they'd get like a pizza party, and then like they'd go to the Diamondbacks game and Tony Womack would bring them onto the field or whatever. He's like, hey, I'm thinking like setting your drums up on the stage, because they were going to have an assembly with him. He was going to show up and promote it in front of the kids, you know what I mean? So everybody was, it was a whole assembly, and it was in the Caffeinasium with the stage. And so he's like, yo, he's going to come do this, like, maybe do a drum solo, like as an introduction, an introduction for him. And I was like, okay, sure. And he's like, well, we got to talk to this woman. She was a teacher. I believe her name was Miss Milinovich. And I'm pretty sure, because she was the connect from Tony Womack to the school, from the baseball player to the school. Looking back on it now, I'm pretty sure homie was getting it in with the teacher, dude. Because she was beautiful. Anyway, so I talked with her, talked to the principal. Next thing you know, dude, my drums are on stage, and here comes Tony Womack, 2001 World Series champion. You know what I'm saying? And I got to meet him, signed my stick. I did my solo. I was on the news for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was cool, bro. It was
big deal.
It was really cool. But still, sports was my thing, just kind of growing up the way that we did. We weren't very wealthy, you know what I'm saying? Like, I come from humble beginnings. And, I just didn't see a future in music at the time. It was, it was sports. It was like, yo, if anything's going to get me out of the ghetto and into college, it's going to be sports. So I played sports, played baseball, a little bit of soccer. My parents were, not really feeling me playing football, getting hurt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that leads to concussions, etc.
Yeah. So it was basically just basketball and baseball for the most part. And then in middle school, I was playing on a baseball team. I think it was a spring league. And I broke my leg in a baseball accident. Now, this is a huge turning point in my story for sure. So that's a crazy story too, bro. So, like, this kid walks up to the plate. I'm in the outfield. He hasn't hit anything all game. Coach shallows up the outfield, right? And he rocks one over my head, and I go chasing after it. But one of the first things they teach you in farm ball is, like, on a fly ball, you got to call it. You got to talk to each other because everybody's staring at the same thing, right? So center fielder went running after it too, and we collided, and he snapped my leg. So they had to cast my leg, and so I wasn't able to move. I wasn't able to, be physically active. Because they casted me to my thigh, dude. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going up the stairs, like, one stair at a time, like that, like trash bag, like, or duct tape around my leg so I can take a shower, dude.
That's hard for a teenager.
It was, dude, and it was really discouraging for sure, dude. But anyway, once they did the surgery, the required surgery, I had a titanium rod installed into my shin bone. So after the surgery, a little while later, they were able to cast me to my knee. And I was still in jazz band at the time. So they cast me to my knee, and now I can actually sit behind my drum kit. And she's so beautiful.
Sorry about the dog.
You're good, dude. Beautiful puppies. Anyway, so they cast me to my knee. I had just got a double bass pedal at the time. Right?
Yeah.
And Walkman was the thing. So even though I was playing sports, like, I come home, my drums were set up in the garage, dude. And, I would put my headphones on and I would jam. And so I was able to do that again with the cast only to my knee, you know what I'm saying? But I had to play lead left foot on the kick drum. So it was really weird. And I actually did play a jazz band concert like that.
Yeah. And you're right-handed, right?
Yes, and I'm right-handed, so I had to figure it out. But after I broke my leg, dude, I just dove into music. Dove straight into music. There was this website in Arizona at the time called ArizonaMusicScene.com. It was basically just a bulletin board. And I was jamming with a buddy of mine at the time. He had learned how to play guitar, like, Nirvana and AC/DC. And we were trying to, like, find another kid bass player. So he introduced the website to me, and I saw what was happening. And nothing just ever came of it, dude. And, like, once I got a taste of, like, having another musician in the room with my drums, like, it was like, yo, it's over.
Yeah.
And so I started scouring the website, and I find a post of the guy looking for a drummer. And just the way he worded it was very, very enticing. He wanted somebody who cared about the music, wasn't so concerned with their, the lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? And so I responded.
Well, how old are you at this time?
At this time, I'm 14 years old, like 13 going on 14.
Oh, you're not even driving yet.
At the time, right.
Yes, yeah.
So, exactly. I'm not even driving yet. So, and I respond. He responds. We set it up. And then he calls me. We get on the phone. We talk about it, talk about musical influences and stuff. And he then asks me, he goes, hey, so you sound like a really cool cat. He's like, maybe we should meet up and, grab a beer or something. And I was like, I'm a tad 14, dude.
10 years off there.
He was like, oh. He's like, I didn't know that. And he was like, well, he's like, to be perfectly honest with you, man, he's like, he's like, I'm 30 years old. He was 30 years old at the time. He's like, I'm trying to make a run for it. He's like, and you're just a little too young. He's like, but I already said yes to the jam, so, like, just come over and jam. And but he was really upfront. He's like, yeah, I just don't think this is going to work out. So I was like, okay, cool. At least I'll go jam.
Yeah.
And that day, the day of the jam, there was this music store that we would shop at. It was called AZ Music. I'll never forget it because it was my first job ever.
Oh, really? That was in Phoenix, right? That was
North Phoenix.
Yeah.
Yeah, North Phoenix, right? Like on 35th Street in Bell, right? So I got a job there. And before I got the job there, my dad, the day of the audition, and I had this piece of shit percussion plus back like drum kit, which I found out later Peisty made those. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure Peisty made those. It makes sense.
That bit of big P on it. Yeah, so
right.
Yeah.
So, and I loved that thing, dude. Like I would rip it apart and put it back together again. And so we go in there, and my dad's like, "So pick one." I was like, "Shut up right now." And he's like, "Yeah, which one do you want?" And Alex Gonzalez was playing Pearl at the time, bro, and I seen a Pearl export. Run it. Yeah. Run it, bro.
Was it the 5-piece or the 2 floors or?
Yeah, so actually what it was is the guy there, Todd, was just a 5-piece, but there was a set of Rogue toms that kind of had the same color, but they were Mapex. It was an 8 and a 10.
Nice.
So for a while, bro, like the way I configured my kit was 8, 10, 10, 12, 14. Everything's floating. Nice. But I just saw the Pearl. My mans plays that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I grabbed the Pearl. I showed up to the jam, to the audition, with a brand new drum kit, never hit it. Haven't even touched it yet.
Stock has everything.
Yeah. It was a used kit, don't get me wrong, but to me it was the most ballinest brand new shit I ever got in my life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I hadn't even played it yet. Like we went from the music store, loaded up the new drums, dude, went to the thing. We set them up, we jam, and all these guys are grown, dude. Like these dudes are in their 30s, bro. And I'm in there like 14-year-old kid. My mom's there, my dad's there, right? And there was chemistry in that room, man. There was chemistry in that room, and for the next 10 years, that jam would culminate into a band that I would dedicate nearly a decade of my life to.
Really?
from that point. Yeah. The project was called Moksha.
This is with James Brown, correct?
Yes, that's how I met. He's my best friend, bro.
Yeah,
he's
good.
my
He's
brother,
guy.
dude. What's crazy is I didn't meet James. When he joined Moksha, we were auditioning guitar players, right? And we couldn't find the guy, dude. We went through like 7 dudes. Couldn't find the guy. And get a call from the other guitar player, Lauren. Shout out to my dude, Lauren. He's like, hey, I got this kid coming. He's going to ASU. And dude, like, for whatever reason, I'll never forget that feeling. But as soon as he said that, I just had this feeling like, this is the guy. This is the guy. So we show up, and we play the set for him. He's sitting on the couch. We play the set for him, dude, and he's just losing his mind. He loves it, right? We start talking. Come to find out, right? His 2 little brothers, his twin brothers, Josh and Joey Brown, shout out to the Brown boys. I actually went to elementary school with. And I actually went to elementary school with James and didn't know it. When I was in the 2nd grade, he was in the 6th grade. He was on his way to middle school.
Yeah, that's that full circle.
I was in a couple of honors testing. Well, his brothers are like, they're 2 of the smartest guys I've ever met in my life.
Yeah.
But we were testing for honors classes, and they obviously aced it, you know what I mean? But I'd seen them around school, and I had been in those, you know, those classes with them. And so it was just crazy how later, you know, way later, we were connected like that. He lived down the street from me, didn't even know it type of shit. You know what I'm saying? So it was crazy. So it was meant to be. And, you know, we would, with that, I'm very thankful for that project because I paid my dues with that project. So like you said, I wasn't driving yet, dude. So for like a year and a half, my pops 3 times a week was driving my ass, dude, from North Phoenix to Tempe.
Jesus, that's a hell of a dad.
To Tempe.
Yeah.
3 times a week, bro, for me to go rehearse. Yeah, my dad's a thug, dude. Shout out to my pops.
Yeah.
I had great parents, dude.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Yeah.
Yeah, I had really good parents, dude, and very fortunate. And thankful. And then once I was able to drive, my dad was like, fuck that, you're on your own, dude. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
But my dad was my best friend, dude. He's still my best friend for sure. You know what I mean? But at the time, like, he was like my drum tech, dude. Like, he was building me like risers and with lights and shit, dude, and just, you know, helping me carry gear. And he was amazing. In fact, the first tour we ever did was like a week run, like a 7-day run.
He's driving you guys around?
For sure, yeah. My dad was definitely co-pilot, helped. Like, he was a total roadie, dude. We had a phenomenal time. And I graduated high school, moved in with my band. We decided we were all going to move in together. We played a show in Flagstaff, and we met one of the most beautiful human beings I've ever met in my life by the name of Rafe Sweet. Rafe Sweet was probably one of the baddest guitar players on the planet, bro. Sadly, he passed away in 2016.
Yeah,
but,
I remember that. Yeah.
I was so lucky, dude. I had no idea meeting him, like how big of an impact and like, I had no idea what was, you know, the story, you know, that lies ahead with him, dude. I'm so fortunate. So we met him. He operated his own record label called Stepping Stone Records. He signed us to that label. And we decided to move to Flagstaff. We're going to make a run for it. And we found a house. We all lived together in that house. We had a printing press.
And I remember hearing about you guys moved to, because I knew James Brown kind of vaguely at that point. I remember that being like a big deal for you guys. And
It was a very big deal.
Yeah.
We were going for it, bro.
Yeah.
We were going for it. And
so let me ask you, I used to play up there. There was 2 clubs that were like right across the street from each other. What were the names of those?
it was probably the Mad Eye. And at the venue we played at the time it was called the Boardwalk.
I think that's what it was. But I remember they being right across the street from each other, and you play one night here, and you play the next night over there.
Yeah, the Mad Italian was like that. There was another place there called the Joint. Sometimes bands would play there. Swanky, dude. So many stories about the Joint. It was the only place that had zoning for a strip club. Yeah, so a strip club in the back and like a venue in the front. We were crazy times there, bro. But anyways.
So were you guys like at least playing in Phoenix before you went to Flagstaff?
For sure, no, for sure, dude. Like we definitely paid our dues out here, dude. And I think it's worth noting that, like, and going back to like my dad, 3 times a week, dude. Like, we did that for a year and a half before we ever booked a show.
That's what you got to do it though.
Like, we were extremely well rehearsed by the time we hit the stage, and it's something that I implore bands to do more often, especially bands that are incubating. You know what I mean? They're in their early infant stages. Obviously we were all players that were dedicated. We're still students. We're always students to the game, to your instrument. You'll always be a student to your instrument. But so we were obviously learning. Records were dropping. 10,000 Days from Tool came out. That was huge for us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, it was, we were getting into all kinds of crazy music. And, we discovered Gojira. Like, shit was getting real.
Yeah.
We moved to Flagstaff. We're gonna make a go of it. We all lived in the same house. Our girlfriends. You know what I'm saying? Like. So, anyways, we moved to Flagstaff, signed this deal with Rafe, and then we start touring extensively. And that is something I'm super, super grateful for. I know what I was saying. So back then, year and a half of rehearsal, bro, before we play our first show. Well rehearsed, and there's a thing you can do as a band that will ensure you have an audience, and it's also a way to gauge how you're connecting with other people. And that is when you have that year and a half to rehearse, you're trickling friends in.
Yeah.
You want to have your friends come check it out, right? So we were always bringing people to the studio to come check it out. So a year and a half later, when we decided to book a show, dude, at the legendary Big Fish Pub, right? About 180 people to our first show, dude.
That's a lot.
It's a small venue, dude, but like, in there, like when it's packed, it feels a lot bigger.
Yeah, it does.
And that was all just trickling effect, you know what I mean? Because that also influences how you compose now and how you arrange things, you know what I mean? Like, so I owe a lot to that band for sure in terms of, honing my skills and being a student to composition, working with other musicians in the room, choosing my moments within those songs to express myself, not just be a drummer, but also express myself with the space that, is appropriate for me to do so. And I was in jazz band in high school, you know what I'm saying? And, that's where I developed my dynamic. But yeah, dude, go to Flagstaff, we start touring. And so thankful for those experiences, dude. Like,
so I was going to ask, what was the Phoenix scene, the Flagstaff scene compared to, like, the Phoenix scene? Was it more like the same faces, or was it kind of more, I don't know how to explain it, because it's a lot more closed in up there, obviously.
Yeah, Flagstaff was a lot of the same face. Rafe was, it's a college town.
Yeah.
So, and it's a hippie town. Yeah. So reggae does really well out there.
Yeah, I can see that.
You know what I mean? So there's some reggae bands out there. Blues, you know what I mean? He was in a band called Delta Blues. I actually just found out the man himself for Delta Blues. His name was a man by the name of Ray Rossi. He just passed away. I think it was last night or this morning. But Rafe was in a band with him. So I hope he's drinking Jaeger with Rafe somewhere, playing some Delta Blues, dude.
Sorry to hear that, man.
It's cool, bro. Rafe was in all kinds of different bands. Rafe was such a huge pillar to the Flagstaff music scene, dude. It was, I've never seen anything like it. But when he passed away, dude, it was held at the Orpheum Theater. They brought his casket there.
Holy shit.
No, bro. Listen, over 2,000 people showed up to pay their respects to this man, bro. I've never seen anything like it. In a music venue, and we had students of his, bro. Like, the music after, where we celebrated his life, it was out of control, dude. It was absolutely beautiful. What a way to send him off like the true rock star.
I didn't know that. That's pretty badass.
Yeah, that he is, dude. You know what I mean? He is a huge piece of my puzzle for sure. And I've had distant friends and family members pass away but he was the first one that like
Hit you on
a
the court.
a piece of me died with
Yeah.
him for sure. And so he was a huge pillar out there. So he was trying to build it, you know, especially with his students. You know, he ran a school out of his house. He was also a sound engineer. He was a performer. He was in like always in like 4 or 5 different bands. And a lot of those bands, you know, he's in bands with his students. And then I got to be in a band with him. He actually joined Moksha with one of his students.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. So we started touring a lot. And man, like that is an experience I'll never forget because you grow. You grow so much in a very short amount of time.
Yeah, and you learn who you're around too.
For sure, dude.
Yeah.
But then you also learn some really like some straight up hard knock shit, dude. Like paying bills on the road sucks.
Yeah, money orders and all that shit.
It sucks, dude.
Yeah.
And we weren't in the time of smartphones and you know what I'm saying?
Social
Like,
media
bro,
wasn't-
we had MapQuest, dog. We had a binder that thick.
How long did you guys? How many times did you guys get lost? A couple times at least, right?
There were a few times. There was one bad one. Yeah, there was one bad one where our singer took us like 100 miles in the wrong direction, dude. And yeah, it was crazy. I have some crazy tour stories, dude, for sure. Some really, really, really funny ones. But just that, and some of the bands we got to tour with, you know, I got to tour with a band called Richelieu, dude, and like Richelieu has a huge audience, and they're out of Seattle, and there was a band called Lothian Square, and like, you know, we loved the Pacific Northwest. That was our favorite spot, you know, that whole drive up there and back. We loved that, you know what I mean? And you know, we had a lot of shows. It was the best of times, dude. It was the worst of times.
Yeah.
And but I've met people for one night.
You'll never
You know,
forget.
and it went from like, yo, yeah, this is gonna suck. Nobody's here. Nobody gives a shit. We're playing for the staff. You know what I mean? And then one of the bands you're playing with, they're like, hey, you guys can come stay with us.
Yeah.
You know, and that's always a crapshoot.
Yeah, you don't know where you're gonna.
That's always a crapshoot, dude. Because there was some really wholesome, like, yo, you have a place to shower and a place to do laundry, and you know, if they have a computer that's hardlined into the internet, check your MySpace.
Yeah.
You know, check your AOL.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, MySpace changed the game.
Yeah, it did.
It really changed, and we were smack down in the middle of that, you know, revolution right there. So most of our promotion, you know, like this wasn't something where we could update everybody every day how tour life was going.
Yeah.
You know, so it was difficult, but yeah, dude, just to be welcomed into, you know, people's homes and fed and like a place to sleep every once in a while, you know, and like, but then you're also paying your dues. Like, you don't have that tonight, and we're actually camping, and you know, or you're like, you're sleeping in the van, and like, it's your
Splitting in a $5 pizza.
it's your shift. You know what I mean, dude? We had like the most per diem we ever had was like $10, and then it got cut to $5. And then by the end, you know, we got tired of like $5 footlongs, dude. So we would just put that, and I'm not bullshitting you when I tell you this, bro. We would put that money into a pot, go hit a grocery store, get bread, bananas, and like stacks of like cans of tuna, bro.
Yeah.
Those cans of tuna, I'm not kidding you when I say this, were fucking currency on that fucking tour band.
Really?
Bro, I would like, me and my bass player would do exchanges like, yo, like, I'd be out of smokes, he's got smokes.
Jesus.
I'll give you two cans of tuna, bro, for like 8 cigarettes.
Damn, it's pure protein. Yeah, you need that protein. You can't eat fucking
You know
hot
what I'm
Cheetos
saying?
all
But
the
like,
time.
yo, I want a cigarette. You're hungry.
Yeah.
You know, we did what we had to do. I mean, dude, we posed as a Christian band at one point.
Really?
Yeah, bro. Like, I remember, dude, I have eaten out of trash cans for my art, bro. Like, you have to pay dues. But again, there's peaks and valleys on the road for sure. And every day is like 1,000% uncertainty.
Yeah.
And 1,000% adventure. Like, and it's literally every day. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I remember one tour we finished on the way down. We go camp in Yosemite. Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gorgeous, right? And we're just at the top. confidence wise, and then you're coming home. So there's that, can't wait to get home, be in your own bed.
Yeah.
But now you're in Yosemite and you're just, Mother Nature is just, come here.
Yeah, you don't hear anything.
You're just beautiful. Leaving Yosemite, somebody, I think it was my singer, I don't know, but we end up on this way down to get out of there, and it's a 16% fucking incline. We're going down, dude, and our brakes catch on fire. Like, shit like that, dude.
Jesus.
That becomes real. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that is the worst. Your whip breaking down on the road, like that's the worst. You know what I mean?
Oh, fuck that.
And thankfully, Mr. Rafe Sweet, like a good, like, there was no signing bonus or anything like that. You know what I mean? We weren't making money.
Mm-hmm.
We were barely scraping by. You know what I mean? And he's not a big label. He wasn't a big label. He's running a label out of his, out of his crib with his school, and like, you know what I mean? Like, we're all trying to come up.
Mm-hmm.
But what I love about Rafe Sweet, dude, is as a label owner, dude, he came through.
Really?
When shit like that would happen. New drum heads, you know what I mean? I snap a drum head at a show or something like that. He's Western Union, you know what I mean? Go to this Western Union, like,
that's pretty badass.
Yeah, dude. Were
you guys trying to hold jobs on the road, or were you just?
Hell yeah, bro.
Yeah.
But for me particularly, like at that time in Flagstaff, it's a college town, and it's a small college town, and it's really hard to find a good job. You know what I mean? Much less find a job that's like cool with you dipping.
Yeah.
To go hit the road. But for me, dude, it was like, nah, dude, like I want this. So,
a lot of pizza places and coffee shops. You know what I mean? Like,
bro, listen, you gotta understand, most of those tours, I'm still not of age.
Oh, really?
So I gotta play the show, dude, and they're like, get the fuck out. Like, you can come in here and play the show, and then as soon as he's done, he's gonna get the fuck out of here.
Jesus.
So I'm in the van. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the van, like, but it's cool. It's like, a lot of times I wasn't by myself all the time. You know what I mean? And things like that help me develop, my social skills. You know what I mean? I talk to people, keep myself entertained. You know what I mean? Did a lot of reading. Yeah, and then later, I'd become more of age, or if like we got really in with, the club owner, he'd be like, oh, I let him in. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you can just chill out, just don't let anybody catch you with a drink. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there was that, dude, and just some of the friendships we developed, and it was, like I said, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times, dude. But like I wouldn't trade it for the world, because like I said, you grow so much in such a short amount of time, where, you come home from doing 2 months on the road, solid.
You're mentally exhausted.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
You come home, and then your friends want to catch up. Fucking, how was it? You know what I'm saying? And so you start telling them all these stories, funny ass stories. And when you're done with that, and you ask the person, all right, so what have you been up to? It's the same answer every time, dude.
It's work.
Same shit, dude. Yeah. Different day. It's the same shit for them.
Call of Duty came out.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's what this is pre-Call of Duty. You know what I'm saying?
No, I'm just saying, like, it's something,
For sure. But that's what I'm saying. It's like, they're going to work. They get up every day. They go to work. They come home. They do their home thing. You know what I mean? It's the same thing for them. Whereas, like, I'm just coming home from 2 months of holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, that was dope, and that also sucked. Getting sick on the road sucks, dude.
Yeah, you gotta sit there.
Being sick on the road sucks,
laying in the back of the van.
Man. Yeah, I remember we were in Olympia, Washington, and my singer got, like, he did do it to himself, but he got, like, right after the show, he just started drinking a fuckload of beer. Yeah. He got wasted.
Yeah.
And we were staying at this, like, podunk ass trailer park, dude. In fact, my bass player, they made a makeshift patio, porch, like in front of the house, and made a makeshift porch with like PVC pipe and tarp. And then he had the guy, and he was the guy we were staying with. He was the guy that booked us on the show. He was our contact when we were booking the tour. So we linked up with him. He's like, "Yeah, you guys are staying with me." And we pulled up, and we're like, whatever, dude. It's a place to stay. You know what I mean? It's a place to stay. But then the next day, my singer's not getting out of bed. He's sick like a dog. And now we just gotta wait. And then homie dipped. So we're just like, there are times where you just cannot wait to get the fuck out of where, out of where you're at, and then there are times where you're playing in front of fucking 300 people, and it's a really good night, and you did really good at merch, and we're not eating tuna tonight. We're actually get to go to Denny's.
Oh wow. Yeah.
You gotta take the good with the bad anytime. You know what I mean, dude? It's life on the road was a roller coaster, and then again, paying bills, dude. Like I was hitting up friends like, yo, dude, I need money. Like I mean, it was difficult. It was super difficult, but we got through it, and I'm proud of what we did. We did get to see it grow. We just figured, hey, if we just keep showing up. You know what I'm saying? And we did. We started to see the audiences hit the same towns. We started to see that grow. Now it might be 5, played in front of 5 people that night, came through, 7 this time. You know what I mean? But 2, 3, 4, 5 at a time, you know what I mean? Where it's like, Seattle became our second home. So by the time, the last tour we did, we hit Seattle, dude, like we're drawing maybe 60 people just to come see us. Now 60 people is not a lot of people in the grand, but like,
that's a lot of commitment. To
be from Arizona.
Yeah.
And then you check the tally mark at the door, there's 60 people who said they came to see my band.
Well, they had to get babysitters, they had to travel, you know what I mean?
Right, but that's what I'm saying is like, in order to do that, like you gotta
have loyalty.
Well, not just loyalty, but like, dude, we put on spectacles, dude. Like when we were here in Phoenix, we'd play shows at the Brick House. Shout out to my dude Roger. And he would just give us the venue. And we linked up with good friend of mine, his name Chris. He owns Lit Lighting, and I just did the last show I just did this past Saturday. Got him involved with the lighting, and so he would light our shit up, dude. Like, so we would do big spectacles. Another band that we loved to play with because they were very much in the same wavelength as us was a band called Vex.
Oh, I remember those guys.
Yeah, Vex for sure, dude. So like, when us and Vex would play together, you knew that it wasn't gonna.
Is that Keith Henney?
Yeah, Keith's you need to get Keith up here.
Yeah. I remember that guy. Yeah.
I love Keith. He's such a nice guy, dude, and just. He was at the show, actually. He was at the show on Saturday.
Yeah,
he shows so much love, dude. He's amazing. I love that band, Vex, dude, and I hope that they get back together for a reunion gig one of these days. See if we can make that happen. But they were very much on the same wavelength as far as just aesthetics, turning the stage into an environment, and we did that. And so, tried to do this as best we could on the road, you know what I mean? We were very anti-establishment, so, my singer talked a lot of shit on stage, and a lot of times it wasn't good.
Yeah.
And it just, that's the thing, you got to be careful of if you're in a band with your singer is like stage banter can kind of, it can play an important key.
Yeah.
How you communicate with your audience in the moment is, it's a crapshoot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think we have more on the social media side these days.
Right. So
one bad post can.
For sure. And even in lyrically, we were very much, musically and lyrically, we were ahead of our time. That first band, Moksha, for sure. I mean, he wrote beautiful fucking lyrics, dude. Like, and at first, in the inception of the band, he wanted to not be in front, the stage. You know what I mean? He was very influenced by Maynard. He wanted to be back by me, in the back. And by the end of it, now that dude was up front, and he's saying all kinds of crazy shit. And so, but it added to the spectacle. It got people's attention. We were loud, you know what I mean? But we had good music and we didn't suck. You know what I mean? We were a very, very well oiled machine. For sure, dude, for sure.
So I'm kind of going off on a side note here, but do you feel like it's a downfall for excellent musicians when they establish a life and they try to go live that lifestyle, it gets stung? Or do you think it's more important to go on the road like that before developing a career, etc.? Which way do you think works better? Because in your story, it sounds like you got a taste of it before,
Well, back then, dude, again, you didn't really have. I mean, in terms of let's talk about content. Like in terms of content, like to have access to video and video editing
was a big deal.
Oh, it was difficult, and you had to have money for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you had to know somebody.
Yeah.
You know, now like everything you need is in this thing. You know what I mean? To create content, promotional content, and stuff like that.
$200 and you're on your way.
Right. You know, so we were still in the era of flyers and having. When you make friends and you book another show in another town, you're hoping they hold you down on the promotion front. You know what I mean? Because there was always this camaraderie where like, hey, when you come through to Phoenix, and we would make good on those promises, or Flagstaff, we'll make sure you guys got prime time slot and you at least have gas money and some food. You know what I mean? We can't guarantee you're gonna walk out with money, but we can guarantee you're gonna get to the next city.
You're gonna survive,
You know what I'm saying? And y'all gonna be fed. And if we can't work out, like, the camaraderie sometimes was super meaningful and life-saving for sure, dude. It is an experience. And to answer your question, yes. I think you should. And Rafe's idea was the spiral out technique. So you start in your hometown, exactly where you're at, go out a little bit, come back in, go out a little further, come back in, go out a little further, come back in. But each time you come back in, you're hitting those other spots. You know what I'm saying? So, and it started to work. You know what I mean? And so it was good to have those experiences. And again, it's gonna test you as a band, which is what you need. You think you got drama now? But now you living, you know what I'm saying? You living together, you know what I'm saying?
All
on
it
the
takes
road.
is someone to get hangry or whatever.
It's like, bro, I know what your shit smells like after you take it. You know what I'm saying? And you get sick of it, and you argue, and you bicker, and you get sick of each other sometimes, dude, and you got to get through it, because at the end of the night, I got to be on stage with you. You know what I'm saying?
So, in today's world, how would you give advice to a band coming up with social media? Would you say, like, hitting the road is still a smart tactic, or would you say just content?
Well, depending on... Here, let's be real about this, bro. So, if the goal is to go viral,
which
viral content is either informative, like educational, or you learn something, super entertaining, you know, which could be funny, or you're over impressed by something, you know what I mean? It's super, or it's like, you have these satisfaction videos of people just like pouring paint into a bucket, and people are just like, "Oh my god, I'm so satisfying!" Right? Some of that shit. Some of that shit is.
I get caught up on
no front.
The press videos where they squeeze shit. I don't know why.
I don't know why either, dude. But it's fucking amazing, right?
I was like, I just watched that for 20 fucking minutes.
Learn things about yourself with the internet, bro. But yeah, dude, I think number one, as a musician or band, number one thing is everybody has to respect their instrument. Respect your instrument enough to fucking like get intimate with it and practice. You know what I mean? And I say that now, but like at the time, you know what I mean? I was playing drums every day because in that band, not only were we going on tour and living together, but we come home and we live together. Like, dude, by the time that project fizzled out, we were fucking sick of each other, dude.
Yeah, I can see that.
You know what I'm saying?
You're probably just sick of setting your drums up, too.
Just like, that's the thing, is like when you don't miss somebody anymore, you know? You can't come back and like, fuck, I missed you. You know what I mean? You're right back to living with you, and, you know, what comes with that. You know what I mean? Like, living with your friends that's a fucking... that's a crapshoot too. You know what I'm saying? And so the fact that we were able to do it that long is crazy. So, but the thing is again, as a band, as a unit, we respected our instrument enough to practice, to anticipate each other, you know, understand each other, how we operate musically. You know what I'm saying? And rehearse. If you're a band, rehearse.
I never stop.
Rehearse. You know what I'm saying? And another thing is like, all y'all friends out here where you got friends that they're in bands, like, don't be afraid to tell them the truth. They need that. You know what I mean? Like, real, true, good, solid, constructive criticism, dude, is like, that's priceless to me.
It is, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if something sucked, I want to know. So I don't suck again.
Yeah, you gotta
You know what I'm saying?
Or you just keep running with it.
And if you do get that feedback, go get better.
Yeah.
You know, go practice. You know what I'm saying? Go get better. Fix it. You know what I'm saying? Because in this industry, it's a fight, dude.
Yeah.
You got to crawl your way to the top. You know what I mean? And I'm just at a point right now, bro. I'm like 20 years in, almost 20 years in to my career. And I'm just now like starting to feel like, okay, this might happen. And when I say this might happen, I don't mean like make it and become rich or anything like that. But dude, like musicians who want to do nothing but this, right? The goal is to just make a living off of it. Yeah. And that's just pay your bills, bro. Yeah. If you can pay your bills playing your instrument,
you made it.
That's it. Anything other than that is desire and, maybe ego and like whatever. You know what I'm saying? But like, I would just love to just get up in the morning,
and practice,
have my coffee, and go create.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that's the goal. So I'm just now at a point, and you go into these projects, you know what I'm saying? If that's who you are as a musician wanting to do that, chasing dreams, you go into these projects with that intention. You know what I mean? Like, I believe in this thing. I identify with this thing. This is part of my identity. That's huge.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when you make that commitment, it's a big deal. And listen, dude, I thought my first band, I thought we were the Beatles. You know what I mean? Like
the second coming,
no one's breaking up this band. We're taking over the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you go into it with those intentions, but then you realize like how real life is. You know what I mean? And that nobody gives a shit about you.
Well, people grow. They want kids, etc. They want a house.
Exactly. Things grow. Exactly. Life happens, dude. Yeah. Life happens. And it's all about how you navigate. So, coming out of that project, I moved back to Phoenix. So coming out of that Moshia project, I moved back to Phoenix. James had left that project a little while before I came back to Phoenix. So that was with the intention of making music with James. And we end up in Bionic Jive. And me and him were playing with a guy by the name of Matt Ward, a.k.a. Pork Chop, who's an incredible musician, dude. And he's been in a band called Detox out here. He's done some really cool stuff. And he's he's a really talented guitar player for sure, and a composer and a great singer. Like, Pork Chop's the shit. Shout out to Pork Chop. But me and James were jamming with him, and Pork Chop had actually had a little run with Bionic Jive for a little bit, and then that fizzled out, and then it was just two guitar players, Matt and James, and a drummer, and then Bionic wanted to make another run at it, and they were two MCs and a bass player, so it was like, it was meant to be.
Yeah. And for those who don't know, what was Bionic Jive's like history?
Okay, so Bionic Jive they are one of America's best kept secrets in terms of the nu metal genre. So when nu metal came out and was popping, like late 90s, you got bands like Linkin Park, and Korn was really just a huge pioneer, and Limp Bizkit and Slipknot and like Deftones and Cold Chamber, were
controlling the market at that point.
Well, just musically, what you're seeing at that time, musically, what's happening is you're hearing hip hop and rock come in, and metal start to, the last time we seen it before that was Anthrax and Public Enemy, and then before that, Run DMC and Aerosmith. You know what I'm saying? Where you're playing with that, and so the industry figured out. Rage Against the Machine, they figured out how to do that. And so while that's happening, Bionic Jive culminates out here in Phoenix. And a guy, legendary producer out here, Larry Elia, is playing guitar in Bionic Jive.
Mind's Eye, right?
Yeah, Mind's Eye. Yep. Shout out to Larry.
Yep.
Larry puts this thing, helps put this thing together. And next thing you know, dude, they're on Interscope Records.
Jesus.
They're on tour with Eminem, and
holy fuck,
the One Mic tour with Nas and Cottonmouth Kings and Primer 55, and they did a couple shows with Ludacris, and they paid some dues for sure, dude. All over MTV for a while, but being in that band, I don't know. It's interesting, dude. Bionic Jive is like one of the best new metal bands that like.
You guys put on a hell of a show when I saw you.
Man,
Yeah.
dude, like it's unfortunate. They go record the record with Howard Benson, who did Michael Jackson and a grip of others, right? And as Bionic's recording their record, OTEP's getting ready to like as soon as Bionic leaves, OTEP's gonna come drop her debut album, and but what happened is they dropped the album on September 11th, 2001, when the towers got hit. Yeah, like the timing of this band has always been a thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you have these bands that have this sound, and people like it. Mm. People like it. Linkin Park drops Hybrid Theory, dude. 14 million records in the first week.
Yeah, they're on top of the world.
Crazy. And Chester Bennington's an Arizona boy, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My 6th grade teacher was just at my show. She was roommates with him.
Really?
With Chester, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that whole scene's popping. Now, here's the thing. At one point, Bionic is like, hey, we want to start playing with rock bands, right? Because they're going on tour with hip-hop acts, which is fine, because they're also hip-hop.
Yeah.
They got Akko Mack and Emerge McVeigh, bro, fronting the shit. You have Akko Mack, who is... Both of Akko Mack and Emerge McVeigh are two of the best MCs on the planet, by far, in my opinion. And the dynamic that they have between the two of them is... It's so symbiotic, dude. Like, it's crazy. It's almost psychic. For sure. It is psychic. But they both can rap their asses off. Akko, you got Luke Air Force isn't far from here. Yeah. Shout out Luke Air Force Base. But anyway, Akko and Mac, they both can rap their asses off. But Akko has, when he sings, he has that, like, Southern Baptist soul in him.
Damn.
Right? Which, like, it's so unique. You know what I'm saying? He's got that African, Southern Baptist black church soul in him when he sings, right? And then Merge, not only can he rap his ass off, but Merge can scream.
Yeah. And
he can scream with the best of them, dude.
Yeah.
So they're this chameleon. There's nothing this band can't do and not pull off. You know what I'm saying? And so you have that element. And just lyrically, just ahead of their time, dude. Just the way that these guys spit. So monumental. So we come together. We start writing the music with Pork Chop. We have a bit of a fizzling out with Pork Chop. We just weren't seeing eye to eye. So he went and did his own thing. And he's, like I said, he's a super talented dude. And he's a badass luthier, dude. Like, he makes incredible guitars. Went to go do his thing. And first guy, I was like, well, we got to call Rafe. And Rafe's in. Like, Rafe remembers seeing Bionic Jive, like, back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, like, he knows.
Was he still residing in Flagstaff?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Still residing in Flagstaff. We bring Rafe in. Rafe joins the band. And then I go to dedicate almost another 10 years to that band. You know what I'm saying? And then when Rafe Sweet sadly passed away, the band just stopped in its tracks right there, for sure. He was such the heart and soul of the band at the time and the momentum. Bionic Jive is, we're still trying to put some content out, you know what I'm saying? I'm available whenever, it needs me, but obviously James being in Georgia right now, so if, something's going to come out of it, it's going to be through file sharing and that sort of thing, you know what I mean? But right now, dude, like, everything I'm focused on right now is Don't Panic. So coming out of...
Which is an amazing band.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm super, super excited about it. So Rafe passes away. I was going through a breakup at the time with, like, my first long, serious relationship, the longest relationship I've ever been in. And, I was just kind of on the verge of you know,
Destruction.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure, dude.
Yeah.
You know, so my relationship fizzles out. Um, I end up by way of trying to find a bass player for Bionic Jive, right? I end up connecting with this guy named Johannes Lahr, who's one of the best bass players ever, dude. Like, he's an incredible bass player for sure. And I end up meeting Johannes, and he's playing in Don't Panic at the time, right, which is Jeffy's project, and he's playing in Don't Panic, but I'm trying to get Johannes to come play in Bionic, right? Yeah. Which he had his own history with Bionic too. Him and Jeffy were in a band out here called Headshell back in the day, dude, and they were massive for sure. So he knew about Bionic. So I get him in the room. I was able to get Johannes in the room with Rafe Sweet once, right? And we got it recorded. It's on a hard drive out there somewhere.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was really fun. And then Don't Panic ends up having falling out with their drummer. They had like this EP release coming up, and it was like 3 or 4 weeks time.
Oh wow!
And Johannes was like, "Hey, I might need you for this." You know what I'm saying? So tap me on the shoulder. I have to learn all this music. I believe it was like 10 songs at the time, and for this show.
Now, this music incorporates all electronics. Are you doing any of the sampling, or is that all?
That's all Jeffy, dude. Jeffy handles and a little bit of Johannes too, from what I understand. You know, he had a hand in the programming, but for the most part, dude, this Don't Panic is Jeffy and Dylan's brainchild for sure.
Now, a band like that, you have to be tight. I mean, you can't stray or like you can't.
Bro,
hesitate,
listen, man. You know, when I was in high school and I did marching band and jazz band stuff like that, the click was a thing.
Yeah, you have to.
The metronome is the thing.
Yeah.
And then, you know, my first band and then Bionic, like, there was no click.
Really?
No. And I did have, you know.
I mean it as a compliment. You guys were on point.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though, is like, even throughout those projects, like, it was common to hear from my bandmates, slow down.
Let's just.
Yeah, slow it down. You know what I'm saying? And that's nerves, you know, on stage, you know, you fucking ready to, you know. So I'd have to tone it down. Coming into Don't Panic, where, you know, the entire set list is one wave file. So Jeffy's going to look at it. You ready? Sure. Because as soon as I hit the space bar, you need to be on.
Yeah. For
40 minutes, 45, the entire time. There's no, you follow, you know.
Too much coffee, not enough. Whatever.
Right. And everything's programmed to a click, to a metronome, to a click. So if you fall off the click.
Train wreck.
Total train wreck.
Yeah.
Right? So this was like, I had to step up. And dude, in Bionic, you know what I'm saying? Like, and in Moksha, you know, we was smoking weed, bro. Like, so I'm hitting the blunt before shows. Like, I got this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And once I was able to get through the set a few times, the Don't Panic set, and this was like 6 or 7 years ago, but once I was able to get through the set, I remember showing up to rehearsal one day, and I got a little confident. I took a couple tokes, right?
Yeah.
Bad idea.
Yeah.
Really bad idea, dude. Highly do not recommend doing that.
Yeah.
Because that click just started playing with my mind, dude. Yeah. Like, it was jumping and like it was
like playing Pong at one point.
Straight up. That's exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
No one's ever put it like that. But yeah, it was like playing Pong with the metronome. So that didn't happen again. Yeah, we didn't do that again. And I remember telling Jeffy that, and he's like, "Well, welcome to being a professional musician."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's a hard reality of it sooner or later.
I mean, but dude, it's like I'd never had, you know, I always thought, you know, like in-ears was like when you know, having an in-ear system was like, you know, when you make it, so you just hear yourself without like, you know, because I would have loved that every show. Sometimes shows you don't get a drum wedge as a drummer. You know what I'm saying?
It also
like,
saves your hearing too.
Yeah, and I love like, just give me all the kick drum in my monitors.
Because there'd be times where I play live and I couldn't hear anything for like a couple hours. You know, walking away and people talk to me, I'm like, I'm on my own right now, man.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, dude, is like, you know, I idolized guys like Michael Jordan. You know, game on the line, 4 seconds on the clock, fourth quarter. You got enough time to make one shot. You know what I mean? Like, that kind of pressure is something I enjoyed. Especially growing up as an athlete. You know what I'm saying? Like moments like that where like you gotta
Man up or get out of the way.
you gotta man up, dude. Like it's a prayer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So not very much time before the show. But I got it done. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it's showtime. And we played the show. Did a great job. I'll never forget it. Jeffy, as soon as we were done,
This is the one last weekend, right?
No. So this is the EP show I was rehearsing. This is 6-7 years ago.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so they bring me on as a fill-in for this show because they'd already been promoting it for a while. And
I apologize. I thought this was like super recent.
No, this is an EP. This is a history of Don't Panic a little bit. So we played the show, and I'll never forget it. Jeffy just, looked at me, and as at the time, Jeffy's, I know Jeffy now. Jeffy is one of the funniest, sharp. His wit is his timing. He's so quick.
Yeah.
With his comedy. You know what I mean? And his sarcasm. He's a master of sarcasm, dude. And that's how he fucks with you, dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he fucks with your mind, dude. But in a loving way, because he's also one of the most loving, compassionate dudes on the planet. Like, he loves his animals, you know what I'm saying? Loves his wife. I love his wife, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's totally gooey. He is a goo ball.
Yeah.
For sure. So even leading up to the show, I meet Jeffy, and I'd seen Jeffy in other bands. He was in Killing Spree, and Jeffy's been in all the bands out here at one point or another.
Yeah, I played shows with him.
Yeah. So my feel for Jeffy was I didn't know how to handle sarcasm on that level, dude. Like it's elite. Like, yo, is he fucking with me right now? Like,
sarcasm
are we
can
friends?
Take the ego pretty fast.
Because there was this element of just like, hey, you're just here to fill in for the show, dude. Like, is the vibe I'm getting from Jeffy. You know what I mean? I don't really care about. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I play the show. We get through it, and he turns around to go start unplugging his gear, and he looks at me. He's like, "You fucking murdered it, dude." Cool. And then they set up a dinner a few days later after that, and they asked me if I wanted to be in Don't Panic.
Really?
Yeah. And then which was super exciting, I really it was a step up. It was like, it's time to step up. This is another level. And just, then and playing to a click the possibilities with that, with lighting and production, you know what I'm saying? Like, it opens up the doors for all kinds of things.
Yeah.
So I had felt confident about that, playing with a click. And now it's to the point where it's just like, I have to have it.
Yeah.
I got to have it. You know what I mean?
I even practice alone with it now.
Yeah, dude, for sure. So we made a run for it. Had a small hiatus for about 6 or 7 years. And I don't know, maybe it was something about the pandemic or something like that, but, everybody kind of did their own, thing for a while. And I remember, the thing too is Dylan, dude, getting back to, Don't Panic with her is
was she in the band at the time? Or?
Yes, no, that's what I'm saying is so...
I mean, 6-7 years ago, she wasn't.
Yes, no, she was in the band. 6, 7. That's what I'm saying. So,
yeah.
I forgot to mention her because we got on Jeffy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Jeffy's the shit. But, when I heard the music, when Johannes sent me the music, the day he was like, okay, we're going to do this with you. Here's the music. Start learning it. Mm-hmm. Her voice, dude,
yeah.
And then I realized who she was because, years before that, I had seen her at Joe's Grotto when she was in a band called An Early Fall.
Yeah.
I was like, who is this person? Mm-hmm. And she was on stage and she was like, it was almost like it was like a silhouette, her standing there, you know what I mean? She had this dress and she was barefoot and it was almost like she was hiding behind her hair.
Yeah.
But her voice was aesthetically, she fit the sound that was coming out of the band. Aesthetically, she what she was wearing, how her hair was done. You know what I mean? Like you could kind of see her face. You know what I mean? But her voice was, I'd never heard anything like it, dude.
Yeah.
And
very Maynardish, like, I mean that as a compliment, but very like elusive.
very elusive, dude. But also very something comforting about it.
Yeah.
Something that's like a hug.
Yeah.
Almost,
You want to go to sleep to it, like.
Yeah, she could, she could definitely lullaby your ass to sleep if she wanted to, for sure. But make no mistake, dude, when she turns the turbo on.
Oh yeah.
She's got that soul, dude. Mm-hmm. She's got that soul, and it'll raise the hair on your arms for sure. Mm-hmm. She's one of the most incredible vocalists, and she's highly respected out here, dude. Like, she's been putting in work for a long time too, and she's been in a bunch of really awesome projects in early fall. She was in a project called The Heathers that Larry Elliott kind of.
Oh, it was an all-girl band?
It was an all-girl band. My homegirl Corey was in. Corey Zazera, shout out to Corey. She was in that band with Dylan. Like, people know Dylan in that voice. You know what I'm saying? She's got a very unique voice. And, dude, if you'd have told me, me standing in that crowd watching Dylan sing, you'd have told me, like, later you'll go on to be in a band with her, like, I'd have fucking laughed at you.
Yeah.
So the fact that I'm able to be in a band with her and somebody like Jeffy as well, and the chemistry between us all, you know what I'm saying, is just it's unmatched, and I'm just super blessed and humbled to be in a band with such talented musicians, goofballs, we just, our senses of humor just align, you know what I'm saying, and we care, dude, and and we love what we're doing, and we believe in what we're doing, and I'm so glad that we were able to come back to this project. Like I said, we took a, split up for a while. People had kids, you know what I'm saying? People had lives. People went on and did other projects for a while. But I'm so happy that we were able to come back to it and just to see it flourish. And then, just more recently, the momentum we've been gaining, you know what I'm saying?
You guys, was the show you just did recently your first show back?
Officially, yes. So our first show, our first time back on stage was actually November 6th of last year, this past November.
But you guys just had a killer show though, right?
Well, yeah, later it's kind of turned into, like, now, like, it was more like a showcase.
Yeah.
But we played in North Hollywood at a place called the Federal.
Oh, really?
In California. And that was like our first time back on stage. So we knew we wanted to do this. Let's learn some old material, right? And on top of that, we ended up going separate ways with Johannes, you know what I'm saying? He's a wonderful bass player, and we love him, you know what I'm saying? No bad things to say about it. I love that dude with all of my heart, dude. He's an amazing, will always be one of the best players I've ever played with, and I actually hope I get to make music with him in the future. Mm-hmm. But just at the time, wasn't the right fit, so we had to bring new guy Ryan, that's my dude, bro. And he's an amazing bass player, and he's just as much a goofball. He's a fucking nerd, dude. Like, he is Don't Panic, for sure. So we had to catch him up to speed with the set list. We're going to play this show. So there was that. And it was a really good tune-up show, much like how fighters, you know what I'm saying, like boxers and stuff like that, they'll get a tune-up fight just to see where they're at. So it was a really good tune-up show, but looking back on it now, it ended up being kind of like a showcase. We've linked up with a guy by the name of Jason Radford, who really believes in us, and we'll see what happens, but we're hoping to work with him more in the future. I don't know how much I want to disclose about it, but right now we're getting ready to go into the studio with Jim Wirt, who has recorded and engineered Fiona Apple.
Incubus, right?
He did the first 2 Incubus records.
Man, that's awesome.
Bro, as a drummer, that's monumental.
That's like a Bible to me at this point.
Straight up, bro. He's done all kinds of wonderful artists, and like he is.
When you say first 2, do you mean Fungus Among Us
and Science?
Oh wow.
How do you not remember Science?
Well, I skipped right over that one, but
you did skip right. You jumped over that one, Don. What are you talking about? But yeah, dude, he's recorded and engineered some just absolutely phenomenal artists in the industry, and Jim Wirt is. We're very fortunate, very fortunate. Again, as a drummer, dude, somebody who's worked with Jose.
Well, he knows his sounds. So
Yeah, dude, and Jose's like Incubus is
top 5 for me.
And dude, I'm a pocket drummer, dude. I like funky. I like pocket. I like groove.
Splash work. And
all that. His splash work. We were talking about that on off camera earlier, dude. But Jose's great. So and he's worked with a lot of very prolific vocalists as well. So I'm excited to see what happens. The chemistry that he develops with not just all of us.
It's
the
a
band,
new member of the band,
but also Dylan, dude.
Yeah.
Like I'm really excited to see what comes out of that. So. And we just finished recording with Corey Spots right now, so we're really like we're trying to see what fits. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to see what what's the best sound like. You know what I mean? Nice little fondue.
Well, we're on that. You typically play 2 up, 2 down. What are you playing now, though? As far as your go-to setup for this band?
My configuration?
Yeah.
Okay, so my configuration is right now I'm on a Mapex Saturn series.
Oh, those are nice.
And I got the I've got 10, 12. 14, 18. There's a big jump.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and then it's very much going back to Alex. It's very much kind of modeled after his setup, which is also very like all of my favorite drummers, they kind of have similar setups.
Right cymbal right there.
Right cymbal right here, like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? 2 Chinas on the side if I can. Sometimes it just depends. Like back in my early Moxia days, I had all the cymbals. 2 Chinas up here, splashes. It was really much modeled after Alex's configuration, and it hasn't deviated too far from that. Like that just seems like home. Obviously a ride cymbal, got to have a China in there. I just added a splash to my setup.
What kind of cymbals are you using?
Right now it's mostly Sabians. I got some Zildjians in there. So I've got on the crashes, I've got some Sabian AAs. I've got a Sabian XRS 19-inch.
Nice too.
Yeah, dude, they actually sound really good.
Yeah, clean wash. Like it just, they blend right in. After.
Yeah, and I just broke the shit out of an 18-inch one right before the show, dude. Yeah, sucked. Yeah. Let's see, Zildjian. I've got a Zildjian A Custom Ping Ride.
Nice. 22,
20-inch.
Oh, really?
But I have a 22-inch, bro. Yo, that cymbal's older. I swear to God, I'm not kidding. That cymbal's older than me.
Really?
For sure.
I'm still looking for a Mega Bell one. The custom ones.
Dude, those are... That if you play in a metal band, bro, that's...
Yeah, I know, but I just want to have one just to play it.
Just to say you have one. No, dude, if I ever get to that point, yes, I'm going to have one. Just to say I have one, for sure. But yeah, like, I love Paiste. I love all the cymbals. Growing up, especially on Alec, I wanted to play Paiste. I actually did. I got a hold of my dad brought home for Christmas a 2002 14-inch crash cymbal. Ooh, and compared to the shit I had at the time, dude, that was the most gorgeous sounding thing ever.
Yeah. They last too. They last a long time.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I beat the shit out of that thing for a long time. So those are my cymbals. Right now where I'm at with sticks, dude, is like for the longest time, like I haven't been able to find like that's my shit.
Yeah.
I know a lot of drummers like they find their stick and like in their size and like that's what they got for forever. You know what I'm saying? That's their jam, and I want that one day. Just haven't found it.
Yeah.
So 1 month it might be some Fatback 3As by Vader.
Nice.
Or it might be some Japanese oak by Promark. You know what I mean? Some Power 5As by Vic Firth. You know what I'm saying? I like that. Like I'm right in between the 5A, 5B size as far as sticks is concerned. I do like nylon tip, especially like just, with splash cymbal work and on the ride.
Yeah.
It especially on the ride cymbal, a nylon tip.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely accentuates the higher frequencies coming off your ride. So I haven't really found my stick, but I do think I found my drum head, dude.
What is it?
That's been forever. So I remember growing up, like pinstripes was the shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Remo pins. You couldn't go wrong.
Yeah, just go to put a little moon gel on there.
You couldn't go wrong. With a piece of shit setup, dude, with like poplar fucking drums, you know what I mean? Cheap drums, dude. You can count on pinstripes for sure.
I agree. Yeah,
For sure. And then, but then I remember walking in a Guitar Center and I see a kick drum there, dude, and it's got this beautiful fucking thing on it called the Evans EMAD.
Oh yeah, that's my hat too. Yeah, those things you just put them on. And
I got laid that day. You know what I'm saying? I hit that kick drum, dude, and I was like, I want that.
Yeah,
I need that.
Yeah, you put them on, you just get the wrinkles out. And
I need to be on it. And I did, and I put it on my kick drum, dude, and like that's my kick drum head, you know. And then I messed around with the super kicks from Aquarian. I messed around with Aquarian for a little bit. They make good stuff.
Well, they last a long time.
They do last. Yeah, the super kicks do last a long time.
Yeah.
But the Evans EMAD's always been home for me.
Yeah.
In terms of the rest of the drums. On the snare drum, dude, I've gone back and forth from Evans and Remo. Like Remo control sound is probably.
You should try the P77. That's like my new favorite head right now.
Is that what you got right there?
Yeah.
I might check it out. Right now, I'm right now everything's Evans on my kit right now, tops and bottoms.
Yeah, I go back and forth.
But let's see.
Are you using a matching snare or are you using a different snare on the kit?
No. So in Bionic, I had a red to black fade. D-drum duo fade. It wasn't a Dominion series. It was just a duo fade, and they made 3 colors.
Yeah, it was.
They made the blue and black, the white and black, and the red and black. And I had the red and black.
That was nice.
Yeah, it was dope. And I used to like the way that I would dress. I'd dress in black and red. You know, it was like the whole idea was to like be one with it. You know what I'm saying? Like be super duper avant-garde with it. You know.
Yeah.
But I had that. That came with the matching snare drum. Now. At the time, that was in Moshia when I got that kit, and I was just coming off of I had sold it to Rafe actually. I had a Catalina Birch Gretsch, and it was that like wine red.
Yeah, they're workhorses.
Wood finish, you know what I'm saying? For sure. I sold that one, but I had this Mapex. Again, I was working at that music store, right? So I had access to gear. And I remember this 13-inch, and I've never gone back in terms of the size of my snare. 13s is home.
Yeah.
That's home plate. So I pull this maple blonde 13-inch snare drum, Mapex, out of the box, dude. And I had my routine because I know that, like, you know, for shipping purposes, they're not putting any tension on the drum heads at all. So they come out. So I just started doing my thing, tune it. I hit it once while it came out.
What is it, a 7 deep?
No. It was like a 5, dude. It wasn't very deep. It wasn't very deep at all. Maybe 5.5, but it was a 13, and I haven't gone back.
Nice.
Yeah, so 13s is where I'm at with that.
Mapex makes some of my favorite snares.
Mapex makes incredible everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To be honest with you, they're an incredible company.
The Black Panther line's really awesome. Everything they do with that.
Out of control, dude.
Yeah.
Out of control. So they've always been, I mean, even all the way down to their entry-level drum kits.
Yeah.
Just their craftsmanship is arguably unmatched, for sure. I love Mapex, and, you know, I was able to, for a little while I worked at that music store, I was able to develop a small relationship with one of the reps, you know what I mean? It was just, Mapex is, you know, and right now, that's my brand that I'm rocking right now. And there's a really good story behind the drum kit that I have right now, which I'm actually leading up to. So, the D-Drum Duo Fade had a matching snare drum with it, which was also a 13. That one was deeper. I was like a 13x7. That one's a little deeper. But because I already had the Mapex, I didn't need that snare drum. So I gave it to my grandfather out in Mexico. He never played it, bro.
Really?
And like I just recently got it back after his passing, like a couple of years ago.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, I just got it back. And that was like 12 years ago that I gave it to him.
Jesus.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the one that I'm playing on right now.
The D-Drum.
Is the D-Drum.
Nice.
So I had the D-Drum. Rafe passes away, right? And a couple of weeks before Rafe passed away, a friend of mine, Garrett, who's a fellow drummer, and he was the brother of Jordan Ziff. Now, for those of you who don't know, Jordan Ziff is like one of the hottest guitar players coming out of Arizona right now. Like, he was in Razor, he's played in Metalhead forever. They're always, you know, they pretty much got a residency over at Wasted Grain. He plays lead guitar he plays next to Marty Friedman.
Really?
Yes, and most recently, I don't He's in a new project. I forget the name of the new project. I'm sorry, Jordan. I want to say he still is, but like, yo, he landed the gig to like play lead guitar for Rat.
Shit.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
pretty badass. Yeah.
Yeah, no, Jordan Ziff is the shit. Well, his brother, I knew those kids because they would come into that music store and they would drop money, bro.
Mm-hmm.
It was always Christmas. Well, they had a friend with him named Skylar, and Skylar was a young kid, and Skylar's grandma was a real estate agent, and she had him, you know, when people would get their houses foreclosed on, you know, Skylar would go and clear them out and get them ready for a walkthrough or whatever. And so he was always with those boys, and he played guitar too. So he come in and he would drop money. Well, I pulled this Mapex out of the boxes, right? I set it up, tune it, and on the store floor, like we didn't really have anything boutique displayed.
You don't want to beat the nice kids, you know.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was like, we got to have that. Otherwise, how are we going to move these kits? They're just stacked, you know? People want to see what they look like set up. So I set it up. Beautiful coffee burst, sparkle finish, Mapex Saturn series, 10, 12, suspended floor toms, 14 and 16. 22 by 18 kick drum, matching snare drum, 14-inch, right? I throw a hardware kit on it, and then I throw a cymbal pack on it. And I went even further. I was just like, you know what, let's live a little, dude. I put a double kick pedal on it, right?
Yeah.
So it's the whole kit and caboodle. As soon as you walk in, you see this gorgeous piece of art. Well, it sat there for a while, and then the boys came in, right? And every time, and like even my managers and shit, they see these boys. They're young kids, you know what I'm saying? But like, you know, mom and dad got money. So they would come in and they would drop good coin on equipment. So it was always Christmas when these kids would come in. Well, I started to develop a relationship with Skylar, and he played guitar. He wasn't in the band with them, but he would play with them. You know, he was a really good guitar player. And I'd been over his house, and his little sister wanted to play drum. He wanted to buy a drum kit. So I tried to lead with like an entry-level kit. He was like, no, dude. He's like, what the fuck are those?
Show me the real shit.
Well, he saw it. He walked in. He was like, what the fuck are those? And I was like, oh, dude, no. He was just like, how much? And I think like
25.
I was like,
shells, right?
Yeah, I don't remember what the quote, but I quoted him just the shells, and he's like, no, I mean for like everything right there. I was like the cymbals, the hardware, and the double kick pedal. He's like, yeah.
7, 8.
No, bro, it was more. It was no. This was.
Oh, I'm thinking today's prices.
You're thinking today's prices, yeah. No, at the time, bro, this was probably creeping up on like $3,000.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a fuckload of money.
That's a pretty good deal.
And it was probably, to this day, it was probably my biggest sale in one sale, like at that store.
Yeah.
But he bought it.
Nice.
He bought it, and he was just like, but I want you to teach my sister how to play drums. And I was like, okay. I did a few lessons with her, and very early on, it was clear that like just it wasn't going to be her thing. Mm-hmm. So the drums just sat there. And dude, like I remember, because he wanted me to bring him to set him up in his house and tune him. Mm-hmm. And I tuned him, dude, and I got to play. It was the best sounding drum kit, dude.
Yeah.
It was the best sounding drum kit I'd ever played on,
the
dude.
most underrated drum sometimes.
Bro, just they were incredible.
Yeah.
They were absolutely incredible. And so they sat there. And at this time, I'm in high school still. I'm working at this place in high school, right? I'm still in Moksha, playing shows. And we move. And bro, like for 10 years, dude, and I even talked to Rafe about this kid, dude. Like, bro, there's this fucking, I know it's just sitting in his room right now, dude, collecting dust. Like, yo. Yeah. And every once in a while, I'd reconnect with Skylar and be like, whatever happened to that kid? He's like, oh, it's still there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, let me know. And every time I would ask him about it, I was a broke musician at the time. Like, I never had the money for it. You know what I mean? But I was like, yo, just keep me in mind, you know. And so fast forward 10 years. 2 weeks before Rafe dies, Garrett Ziff, Jordan, guitar player's brother, passes away.
Really?
Yeah. And Skylar was friends with Garrett. Mm. And so I see Skylar at the funeral. And you know, we're catching up. And I asked him about the drum kit. Yeah. You know, and not to make light of the situation or whatever, but it was like, you know what, you know, we got on the topic of it, and I was like, what'd you ever do with it? He's like, dude, actually, like, I almost lost it in a fire.
Really? I
guess he moved the kit to the garage and left, like, a space heater on, and it blew up or some shit, and, like, almost took the whole house down.
Jesus.
But the 16-inch floating floor tom,
Melted.
that didn't make it.
Yeah.
But he said everything else was salvaged. He said there was there was damage to the finish on the shells. Some of the feet on the hardware, the cymbal stands, like the rubber feet were like melted and disfigured. And I was like, all right. I was like, what are you gonna do with it? And he was just like, I don't know. He's like, I'm probably just gonna sell it. Just clean it up and sell it. And I was like, all right. Me knowing what I had sold it to him for, I was like, okay. I was like, yo, we'll just keep me in mind. Maybe give me some time. Maybe do some payments or something like that. Like I would love that kit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe a month after that, dude, I was having a good day that day. It was a really good day that day, bro.
Yeah.
I was doing an OSHA 10 course for a job out here. Mm-hmm. And, an OSHA 10 course consists of you doing this course for 10 hours.
Jesus.
Right, but you can skip and take the test at the end. But if you fail that test twice, you gotta sit your ass there for 10 hours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I get like 2 hours deep into this thing, dude. I was like, "Fuck, dude, it's gonna take forever." As I'm in the middle of the test, Skylar texts me. He's like, "Hey, dude." He's like, "I kind of really don't want to, go through all of the cleaning this thing up and trying to sell it." He's like, for whatever reason, it just seems right if you have it. So if you want it, it's yours. Come and get it. Jesus. And I dropped my phone, dude.
Oh, wow.
I was like, what, dude?
Yeah.
I was like, are you fucking serious, dude? And I started to tear up a little bit. He's like, yeah, dude, just come get it. It's yours.
He just gave it to you.
He gave it to me, bro.
Holy shit.
And so I hung up the phone and I was like, I wanted to go get this kit now, dude. You know what I mean? So I was like, fuck it, dude. And I rolled the dice and I took the test and I passed it.
Holy shit.
I took the OSHA test and I passed it. I was there for 2 hours, bro. I was like, dog, I'm on my way, bro. I went and picked it up, dude, and it was just so cathartic because 10 years before that moment, I pulled that drum kit out of the boxes, bro, when it showed up to the music store.
You gave birth to it?
I set it up, I tuned it, and I fantasized for a decade about playing this kit, and now it's mine, bro. Jesus. It almost felt like a gift from Garrett and Rafe from Beyond the Grave.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was weird. Now you might be wondering, maybe you are or not, but what happened to the D drum? Well, so in mourning the loss of my beloved Rafe Sweet, we're not friends anymore, particularly because of, this incident had a lot to do with it, but he was a friend of Rafe's, and they were mourning the loss of him, and he was living with Rafe's protege, Brad Lopez, who's an incredible guitar player. He's the closest thing we have to Rafe on the guitar for sure. Incredible guitar player. Lived with Rafe for years, and Rafe taught him everything he knows. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, man, I really, Bilo, we call him Bilo. But Brad took it really hard. He took Rafe's death really, really hard. And we didn't know if we'd ever see him play the guitar again. And so this guy's like, I won't say his name, but he's like, man, I really want to make sure, he's still playing guitar. And he's like, I wish I had a set of drums. Mm-hmm. When I had just got the Mapex and I didn't have anywhere to put the D drum. Mm-hmm. I was like, well, why don't you just hang on to my D drum? I'll let you borrow it. I'll throw a little bit of hardware. I was like, you're on your own for cymbals, dude. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I have another double kick pedal. Here's a double kick pedal. You know what I mean? Like, here's a snare drum. Like, I did give him actually a set of hi-hats. I had an Avitas set of hi-hats. It wasn't a custom. It was just straight Avitas.
Still good stuff.
Yeah, it was good. Really good sounding hi-hat. Actually, a lot of prolific drummers swear by those hi-hats. Yeah, the new beats. Yeah. There it is. Yep. So I gave him that. I didn't give it to him. It was just like, here, hang. I don't have space for it. This could be therapeutic for you, and it'll keep my boy playing guitar because we were all worried. So many people were worried about him. So it was cool. So it was like, done deal. And then time would go on, and every once in a while I would check in with this dude, like, hey, man, so how the drums, working out for you? He's like, oh, a couple of times he's like, yeah, I just added a new cymbal, here and there. Maybe almost 2 years later, I start getting into trouble financially. And I start looking at that drum kit as something to, help me pay the rent, right?
Yeah.
So I call him, and I was like, hey, dude, so I've kind of got some bad news, and, kind of explain the situation to him. I'm like, hey, I'm going to need that drum kit back.
Mhm.
And this fool's like, man, I've been dreading this day for a long time. And I was like, what? He's like, I sold it.
Ugh.
I was like, you did what? Like, didn't talk to me about it, like, because he was in a financial pinch. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, you know how many tours I did with that kit, dude? Like,
Yeah, it's
you know how much blood, sweat, and tears are in that kit, and you just didn't even care to talk to me about it? Like, who knows if he'd have pitched his case to me, maybe out of the kindness of my heart, because Rafe was like that, dude.
Yeah.
Rafe bought my Gretsch drum kit so that I could pay rent.
Huh.
And then I found out, like, yo, wait a minute, I'm also 19 and I don't have any credit. And I went to Guitar Center and picked up that D drum with no money down. I walked out of there.
Yeah.
Right?
Uh-huh.
With a new drum kit. So then I had the Gretsch. Rafe bought that. So Rafe was very, very generous. You know what I'm saying? And philanthropic for sure. So if this guy would have, stated his case to me, maybe, okay, go ahead and sell it.
Mhm.
Nah, bro, behind my back, dude. Yeah, and like I haven't talked to him in a long time. You know what I mean? But that was like, I would have loved to held on to that drum kit, but thankfully, dude, like I still have that snare drum that came with the kit. Remember, because I gave it to my grandfather, so I still have the snare drum to that kit. Thankfully.
Did you sell it to someone in Phoenix?
Bro, you know what, dude? Like I knew who I was dealing with. Then there is, as much as I was well within my rights to be like, well, go get it.
Yeah.
I don't care how you do it. If you have to sell your car, you know what I'm saying? If you have to steal money from your mom, I don't care. Like, go get it.
Yeah.
It wasn't yours to sell. This was supposed to be a thing, to help you cope, and you told me it was going to be therapeutic for you and it was going to help him keep playing guitar. And then you don't even talk to me about it. Like, so that cut me deep. And, otherwise I probably would have held on to that drum kit. But it's okay. Just, the Mapex now, just with the history of that drum kit, it's very, very sentimental.
Yeah.
But dude, like all these other companies are just coming out, like Pearl's coming, like you got the Pearl here, you got a set of D-Dubs, like all these companies. There's a company out of, I want to say they're out of Italy. They're called Varus.
Oh yeah, I talked to that guy.
Man,
yeah.
They have some.
He sponsors that one dude, El Sabre. I know you see his videos, but he's like lightning fast, ripped dude. Doesn't speak English. He's on YouTube, man. You gotta check it out. I'll send him the links, but El Sabre or something. But
okay,
this guy shreds, dude. They just endorsed that guy. Those drums sound really good,
and they look really fucking cool too, dude. Yeah, they look cool. So that's the thing is like, I like cool looking drums too. If you can match like aesthetics and, I love powder coated hardware. There's actually, I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but his name's John Douglas, and he's an artist, right? Because I was always, fuck, how did they get, how did Alex get a custom kit like that? Because then every album, Alex has like a badass custom drum set, dude.
The theme of the kit, yeah.
Bro, it's, I was always wondering when I found out this guy, John Douglas. He's done Alex's kit for years, bro. Probably decades at this point. He also did Joey's kit from Aerosmith.
Really?
Powder coated all of his, like powder coats your hardware to like.
That's a process.
To custom, yeah, right? No bullshit. And then artwork makes your drums look super cool. Super cool. Alex Van Halen, dude, has done his shit. Homie from Creed, you know what I mean? Like all these dope ass looking Randy Johnson, like all these. Morgan Rose, he's done a couple of Morgan Rose's kits, dude. Like, yo, he's the guy. Like, if you just get a set of drums and you just want to transform them, hardware included, he's the guy.
You know who has some of the coolest artwork right now is the guy from Mastodon.
Yeah, dude, Bron Daly.
Yeah, his kits are like fucking
man,
awesome.
Yeah, dude. So I had these phases of drummers. So coming out of Alex, we went into Morgan Rose real quick. I don't know how old I was, a youngster the first time I heard the album Home by Seven Dust, and it scared the shit out of me. That was the album that got me, Scared the shit out of me. And I was like, yo. And then shortly after that, Slipknot fucking made me go to church.
Yeah.
You know, Joey was crazy, dude. Joey was another breed. Yeah, Morgan Rose, Joey. It was a lot of Morgan Rose for a while. Like, he was my dude. Him and Alex were like,
that locking kick drum with every riff was a big game changer for me too.
You know, and Alex is like that with Juanito on bass, dude. Like, he the way he lines up his kick drum with bass lines is a subtle art. And to be honest with you, like, that's kind of your job with that drum.
Yeah.
Is to accentuate with cymbals. You know, that's like your punctuation. You know, if you look at drums like, you know, speaking and expressing yourself using sentences and phrases and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Your cymbals are like kind of like your punctuation, and his ability to just like line up his kick drum with the bass lines has just always been super iconic for me. And Morgan Rose, exactly what you're saying. Morgan Rose like that
loud
for
crack
sure.
on top of it.
For sure. And Morgan Rose just hits hard, dude.
Really hard.
I remember Vader gave him his own stick.
It's just the 1-2 buttons. Yeah.
I tried it, dude.
It's too much.
And then I got to meet him and I shook his hand and I'm like, oh, that's why it's so fucking thick, dude. Jesus Christ, bro.
He was the reason why I bought a Zeal bell. My first Zeal bell.
Me too. Yep, me too.
I want one. I put one right on top of my right cymbal, and that was pretty much a thing for a long time.
Yeah, dude. And he was just incredible to see live, to watch perform live. Yeah. You know, so we get into Joey, and then had my Danny Carey phase.
Yeah, I'm still going through that.
Ron Daler from Mastodon came into the picture. You know, Joey's always been a staple. And then Meshuggah came into the picture, dude. Thomas Hack is out of control, bro.
Yeah.
Out of control. And this, as far as just like guys that are inspiring me on a daily basis for me to improve on things that are somewhat attainable. Mm-hmm. Now, what I mean by that is, like, I have these drummers that are inspiring me, especially with the respective projects I'm in at the time, that make sense. Mm-hmm. Especially in metal and in rock. You know, you obviously have the gods. Okay, you got your Neil Pearts, right?
Bonham.
You got Bonham, right? But then, again, drummerworld.com exposed me to Virgil Donati, Mike Mangini, Grant Collins, dude, Thomas Lang, like all these virtuoso, like just guys that, like Tony Royster Jr., dude, like.
That first DVD was huge for me with Dennis Chambers. I don't know if you ever saw that one.
Yeah, Smiley, are you serious, dude? Vinny Colaiuta, Dave Weckl, Steve Gadd, dude. Yeah. Like, a lot of people don't know about, like, homie from, like, I want to say he's from Japan, but Akira Jimbo.
Oh, yeah.
Akira Jimbo's out of control.
Played that. He was one of the first drummers to incorporate the pads, too, with the Yamaha pads.
Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely one of the first hybrid drummers.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
But there's also a cat. He did a commercial for Reese's Pieces a long time ago. But I would consider him probably one of the pioneers in electronic hybrid drumming.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
His name's Tony Verderosa.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah. So Tony's dope. When it comes to electronic drums, dude, I mean, you're getting into Alex Van Halen at, like, back in the day. You're getting into, like, as far as hybrid kits. Yeah. You know, Alex Van Halen, Tommy Lee.
Well, he goes farther back that, but that was the first time I seen it. Like,
Def Leppard.
In a commercial, I don't know, in a soloing sense.
Yeah,
like
Neil Peart. Yeah, Neil Peart for sure. So, yeah, dude. And so, fast forward, you know, I get into Gojira, dude, Mario Duplantier, and then, you know, I see his setup. And I was like, oh, he doesn't have anything. So when you see something like that, it's just like, as a drummer.
You think bashing.
Well, you think bashing, but you're like, okay, what he's doing is a little more attainable, because, like, you have guys like Terry Bozzio who live in the world. Yeah. Where you're just like, there's no, you know, that's more of a spectacle. That's. Yeah. You're watching true masters. Mm-hmm. There's also a cat named Dave DeCenzo, dude, who's just.
Oh, yeah. I know about it, yeah.
Super monster, dude. Friend of mine, I know him as Charge. Mm-hmm. Drum instructor out here. He studied under him.
Really?
Under Dave DeCenzo, dude. And you can tell. Dave DeCenzo's linear drumming, dude. And for those of you who don't know, linear drumming is where no one note plays on top of anything else. It's very... Linear. It is its own art, dude, and it is like, I don't know. It's something I hope to attain with time.
Well, even Terry Bozzio introduced me that with the one-hand roll on the floor tom. That was kind of like my introduction to linear drumming.
Bro, Bozio's, and he's, I love the drum channel because he's just such a sweet dude, and he's always, like,
he's 70.
What?
Yeah, he just turned 70. Yeah, doesn't look it.
Shout out Terry Bozzio, dude. Like, yo, what is in your milk, bro?
Yeah, his son's actually an amazing drummer too.
His son?
Yeah.
I actually played a show with Dean Castronovo. Do you know who he is?
Yeah, Journey. Yeah,
Journey. His son, Kyle.
Yeah, he sits in, doesn't he?
I think so. He might have sit in. I'm not sure, but like when I was on tour with Moxia, we played a few shows with his band. I forget what the fuck the name of the band was, but
that Dean's really good too.
Yeah, Dean's really good. Steve Smith from Journey, bro.
That's one of my favorites, though.
Steve Smith. Shit, who else, bro? Stuart Copeland. We talked about Stuart.
Let's give a shout out to your Phoenix drummers that you think.
My Phoenix drummers out here. Gary Romero.
Yeah.
One of my all-time favorites out here. Jonathan Bond from Fifth Density, dude.
Nice.
His groove, his footwork. What I love about John is his ability to retain information, dude. It's ridiculous. When you listen to a band like Fifth Density, like there's so much happening and not chaotic like Meshuggah, where it's math so much, you know what I mean? But they're definitely playing with time.
Yeah.
And it would take a lot of as a drummer, it's like, you'd have to decipher that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
One layer at a time.
And then when you see these guys live, for me as a drummer and to watch him play and to see him work, it's a lot of information to retain, you know what I mean? And he's just he's an amazing player. I'm super good friends with his brother Matt, particularly. Matt was in a band called Fracture Point out here.
I remember them, yeah.
You remember Fracture Point?
Yeah.
Scary. Scary, bro.
Yeah. Thrash band, right?
Bro, people went to hospitals at their shows.
Really?
Bro. They were crazy, dude. I really wish they'd get back together again, dude. But Matt Bond, Matthew Bond, I've literally been friends for probably more than half my life.
Really?
Yeah, he's one of my best friends for sure. I don't know where I'd be without him, actually. He's definitely helped me get through a lot, for sure. So, and him and John are twin brothers. So,
really?
they play in Fifth Density. Another drummer. Actually, just played a show with Sevilla. Marty, dude. Marty goes on stage, dude, with like, it might as well just be him and a stick.
Really?
Like nothing, dude. Just a kick, snare, rack floor, bro, and a big ass ride cymbal and a big ass crash cymbal, dude, and hi-hats. And like, he sounds so huge, bro.
I have to check that out.
Yeah, Sevilla's, I'm so glad we didn't have to play after them this past Saturday, dude. It was great. Him, Mikey Olson from Animus Complex. He plays in Vector now. He did a couple European runs with Insight, which is Richie Cavalera's band, some Hometown Heroes. Mikey's an incredible drummer. I'm trying to think of
too many to name, man. I'm sorry to throw that on you.
What's that?
Too many to name. I'm sorry to throw that on you.
Here in Phoenix?
Yeah.
Dude, my buddy Dan Smythe, who I've known for a long time, he's a great drummer. I'm trying to think, man. Oh, Gary Romero, bro.
I talk to him every day. He's one of my best friends.
He should be, dude.
Yeah.
He should be. Gary Romero is... God, I remember first time meeting him in Guitar Center, and he was always cool. He'd always let me play on the drums.
Yeah.
And later, I would find out I was on a show playing at the clubhouse, and the band was called Kingsfield.
Yeah, I remember.
Remember Kingsfield,
yeah,
right?
I used to hang out at the house with them all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
And I didn't know like he was the drummer for Kingsfield.
The power metal band. Yeah, awesome.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Like, and that's why like now with like all the stuff Gary's doing now, little by little, bro, he's starting to like
heavy it up,
open his shit up.
Yeah.
And I know, and I've talked to him about it, bro. I've talked to him about it. Because, like, my mom one night called. She was out with some friends. She's like, hey, we need a ride. Come pick me and the girls up, right? And I pull in. I walk inside, bro, and New Destiny's playing. And I'm like, holy shit, Gary and his band is here, right? And New Destiny's is their own feel within itself, right?
Yeah.
But Gary's very much just straight in the pocket.
Precise.
Very precise, you know. And I'm waiting for him to turn up, you know what I'm saying? He's got the space to just shred, you know what I'm saying? But nope. He'll do something like a blap, do blap, do blap, 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 and just very precise. And come to find out, it's all his dad's fault.
Really?
Yeah, his dad's like James Brown. He'll look at him like if he tries to fucking, from what he tells me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But with his video content lately, like you're starting to see his chop. Because when I saw Kingsfield, I'm like, oh, this dude's one of the baddest motherfuckers I've ever seen out here. Like,
he has some of the best drum sounds I've ever heard too. And
dude, his ear is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, his drum tones are absolutely phenomenal. Same with Mikey. Zach from Sickmonic.
Yeah, he was on the show too.
Zach's the shit,
yeah,
dude.
He does all those Bossa Novas and all that stuff. Like,
Zach's crazy, bro. That dude, his speed,
yeah,
his creativity.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't.
And he just physically fit. You can tell. Like, everything sounds athletic. If that makes sense.
You know, and I feel the same way about how I play, a little bit athletic. You know what I'm saying? That's what I love about Zach, dude. His speed, his control, and his creativity. You know what I mean? He's not scared to, like sometimes some of the shit he does, his hands look like really weird when he does it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it sounds like super rad. You know what I'm saying?
Still playing that PB kit too. He's had that kit since I met him.
It sounds great, dude.
Yeah, I love that kit. That radio kit is awesome.
Yeah, it sounds great. Gosh, I'm trying to think. My buddy Lee Shipper. Love Lee. He's got great groove, great style. And then rest in peace, Lee Rickenbacker. That dude was a monster drummer out here. I always loved, and he had big kit and that Tama kit, and it was always fun seeing him play. Big giant. There's a cat. I forget his name, dude. But I was telling you earlier, the band, The Color 8.
Yeah, you were.
Now they're called The Color 8, bro. Look out for them, dude.
Really?
Their drummer is like, single pedal, just
shredding.
Church gospel chops, dude, for sure. He's super duper rad. The dude, there's just a lot of talent out here in Arizona, and it's abundant. And another good drummer out here, dude, is my buddy Pete. He played drums in Frequis.
Okay.
Pete's a phenomenal drummer. He's a great drummer.
Yeah, I remember him.
And good solid rock drummer, dude. But yeah, right now, dude, I'd say those are probably my favorite cats right there.
I agree.
Another one. Sorry. Ben Anderson. A lot of people don't know Ben Anderson from Nothing More.
He's been on the show too.
Yeah, no, I heard that one, dude. Like, Ben Anderson. I've known Ben Anderson since high school, bro.
Yeah, he was in Digital Summer. He was in
Comfort for Change.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
And before that, he was in a band called Depiction of a Massacre.
He's a machine, though. Like, he doesn't deviate. He's a machine. Like, when you watch him play, it's like, okay, this is it.
He's serious, bro.
Yeah,
you should have heard him in Depiction of a Massacre, though,
really?
Bro. So I was in a class with my buddy Kyle Merrill. You know him as Barry.
Mm-hmm.
And Barry played bass. And the other homie, Boris, who actually played guitar in Cover for Change later, they were in this band called Depiction of a Massacre. And so Metal Devastation was happening, right? That building, right?
Yeah, the storefront. Yeah.
The storefront, right? And so they were throwing like hella hardcore shows there, right? And this is like Job for a Cowboy's popping. Well, they hadn't popped yet, but Job for a Cowboy was huge out here.
Yeah.
Knights of the Abyss.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of who else. Knights of the Abyss.
Abigail Williams,
right?
Yeah.
Then there was it was an iconic show. It was Job for a Cowboy and Suicide Silence, dude.
Really?
And they destroyed that place, right?
Yeah.
And I remember Depiction of a Massacre, like being on that. So these hardcore bands, like super rah bree breakdowns type shit, hardcore dancing and all that stupid shit. And Ben played drums in Depiction of a Massacre, bro. Listen, like what you hear and what you heard in Digital Summer and Comfort for Change and what you hear, like nothing more is like that is his peak like form. Like that is who he's supposed to be as a drummer for sure, no doubt about that.
That's his band.
But that doesn't take anything away from that dude's ability, bro. The shit he was doing in depiction of him at like super duper blast beats, gravity beats, his foot speed is out of control, bro.
Yeah, he just focused the whole time.
Man, for sure, and he's great, and I'm so happy for him, dude. Like, everybody kind of knew he was he was gonna figure out a way to be successful.
He was top shelf.
Yeah, he's definitely so he deserves. Yeah. He deserves a lot of love for sure, and it's good to see. It's good to see hometown heroes out here, dude, come out of here and do some really, really big things. And, I'm in the race. I'm trying to make something happen myself. You know what I'm saying? But
same here, yeah.
There's some amazing drummers. In fact, dude, with Mikey Olsen, dude, I actually paid for a drum lesson with him, dude, and I haven't had it yet.
Yeah, he's an amazing drummer too.
He's incredible, dude. Yeah. He's incredible. His dexterity, his phrasing. His drum fills, like, dude, just he has some really cool ass unique drum fills for sure. A lot of people don't know this, but he's not in Whitechapel anymore. But Ben, I forget Ben's last name. I want to say it's Chapman. I think it's Ben Chapman. But Ben's Flagstaff, dude. He was in Whitechapel forever, dude. Mm-hmm. And then he left, and then Alex Rudinger came in. Look, let's talk about these new cats. Let's talk about this new shit, dude. These aliens out right now. These Alex Rudingers, right? These Anoop Sastries. Have you heard of Anoop Sastry?
Probably. I'm really good with faces.
Oh, bro. Anoop Sastry will slap you upside the dome, bro.
Really?
He's crazy. Forgot to mention Morgan Agron. Crazy at like gent before... He was a gent drummer before it was even a thing, dude. Bard from Leprous, dude. Absolutely insane ass drummer. The guy from I forget his name, and I feel disrespectful, but homie from Carnival. Oh, absolutely incredible drummer.
That's another underrated band. Like, I love that band.
Why does his name escape me? His name's Matt. I know that.
Halpern?
Matt Halpern from Periphery.
I already know where you were going with that.
Matt Garska from Animals as Leaders. Yep. Another insane ass drummer. Yeah, these guys are crazy. Oh, there's another cat. His name's Naveen Koperweis. He's the original drummer for Animals as Leaders.
Really?
Yeah.
I saw him live.
Right. So it wasn't with Matt, right?
No, I saw them live.
That dude's a monster,
at a
too.
place called the Martini Ranch at the time. I was like from here to that table over there.
That dude's a monster,
too, bro. I just stared like a weirdo the whole time.
That dude's a monster, bro. Monster. And we're really in the age where, like, the most technical drummers right now, dude, that just, in terms of ability, like, less is more.
Yeah.
Like, homie from, there's a band that I love right now. His name's Adam. I forget how to pronounce his last name, but he's the drummer for Vola. Like, not a whole lot, and just makes it sound full. He don't even have no rack toms, bro. His crash cymbal's like right here. He's got a really... It almost feels like the more unconventional your drum kit is, like, the better you must be. And I remember growing up, it's like, yo, dude, his kit looks weird. Drum's not supposed to look like that. And sure as shit, a drummer would get up there and, like, drummers aren't supposed to play like that either. Yeah. You know what I mean? But now you see somebody with, like, a weird-ass kit, dude, and they go up there and just, like, how do you do that?
Yeah.
With that?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, dude, so much phenomenal talent. Right now, too, dude, like, some of these kids, we talked about Luke Holland earlier, bro.
Yeah.
Another hometown hero.
Yeah.
I saw that kid from his basement on YouTube get to where he's at now.
Yeah.
And we were talking about this earlier.
He just joined a big band too. It's slipping my mind, but will come to me later. But he's in. Sorry, it'll come to me later though. But
it's okay. That kid opened up the gate, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, we were talking about this earlier. Drum covers all can be traced directly back to Travis Barker.
Yeah.
All of it can directly be traced back to Travis Barker. Travis Barker, if you have made a career or you're making money off of drum cover videos, you need to pay your respects to Travis Barker. For
Soldier
sure.
Boy, yeah.
That changed the game.
Yeah.
That made it possible for Maytal Cohen. She was another early one, dude. Maytal, do you know her?
I think so.
She has the biggest smile, dude. Beautiful woman. She's from Israel.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Beautiful woman, yeah.
She does a lot of Toll songs and stuff.
Yes, dude. And she's a badass, right?
Yeah.
For her. Matt McGuire.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, these cats that, like, you literally saw them progress with a room with, like, minimal microphones and stuff like that into full-blown
productions,
lucrative, fruitful careers, dude.
Yeah.
In the world of drums, dude.
Yeah.
And I think that's super inspiring. That's something, I'm trying to do more of. You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to help you.
I appreciate that, dude. Let's make it happen. But cats are crazy. Anika Niles, get her ass on the show, dude. That's wifey. That's wifey. Girl, if you seeing this, like, listen.
She does a lot of, like,
dynamic. Let me make you a fish sandwich or something. Just saying. No, her technique, her finesse.
Yeah.
Her finesse, dude. Another single pedal, like, just.
She puts that snare drum on the right side as a floor tom.
That seems to be a trend. I've been noticing that. You know what I mean? Like, there's, instead of a floor tom there, if they turn it off, it still kind of sounds like a floor tom, but then they just throw the snare back on, you know what I mean? That's interesting. I don't know if it would fit. One thing I would love to do in the future with Don't Panic is, if we decide to start releasing albums and having touring cycles with those albums, I would love a different configuration for each album.
That'd be cool.
I think as a drummer, it would, and that would start in the studio.
Yeah.
I think as a drummer, that would kind of force me to think differently.
Well, even when you look at bands like Van Halen, every album had a different setup. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, that's that era, that's that era, that's that era.
Right. Or things evolve over time, or, they get, come down a notch.
Usually bigger, but...
Yeah. Mike Mangini, dude, another cat, he plays in Dream Theater right now, like, Mike Portnoy, Jimmy the Rev Sullivan, I forgot to mention him. Jimmy Chamberlain from Smashing Pumpkins, dude.
Like, Derek Roddy's a big one for me, too.
Derek Roddy's a monster, bro.
He's been on the show as well.
Derek Roddy has?
Yeah.
Sick, dude. Yeah, that guy, he auditioned for Dream Theater.
Yeah, I know.
Dream Theater auditioned all the baddest motherfuckers in the game, dude. Marco Miniman, bro. Are you serious?
I watched that thing like 3 or 4 times. That, like, I guess call it documentary. I was just like, whoa, this is awesome. Mm-hmm. Yeah, to me, that was real reality TV, I guess you would say.
That's the kind of reality TV I want to watch, dude.
Yeah.
Just get all the badasses.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, so who gonna play? Who gonna have play drums in Dream Theater? Call everybody. Jesus. Call all the baddest dudes ever. Yeah.
Well, before I let you go here, what's the next for Don't Panic?
Okay, so yeah, we're going up to Cleveland tomorrow. I'm jumping on a bird tomorrow to go to Cleveland. We're gonna go record with Jim. We've got some new material we want to showcase with everybody, and then we're just gonna do that. We're gonna focus on making good music, releasing good music, also accompanying that good music with good visual content. We've got some really neat ideas as far as in terms of music videos, some really cool concepts, with those music videos and lyrically. I love what Dylan's writing, dude. I love what Dylan does as an artist too. You know what I mean? Just her outfits. That's also going to be, her sense of fashion is going to be just as artistic as her vocals, just as artistic as her role in the band. Like, what she does aesthetically, I think is going to be super fun to watch develop. Cool. We've got a show coming up March 11th at the Rebel Lounge. Sevilla is going to be on that. Nice. Center Shift is going to be on that. They're our friend Jason Radford. He's actually going to be in Cleveland with us. But that's his band from LA. So, like I was telling you about the camaraderie, you know what I mean? He put the show on for us in Hollywood. Yeah. His band's coming through Phoenix. We're going to make sure they get prime time slot, you know what I mean? Put them in front of some people. But right now, March 11th, that's all we got so far in terms of live performances. But yeah, best believe, dude, everybody will be kept up to date. Yeah. Raymundo Rascon on Facebook, Mad Mundo on IG. Look up Don't Panic on all your social media platforms. I want to say it's Don't Panic Now .bandcamp.com. You can check out our music there. We're on Spotify. Connect with us, dude. See if you like it. I think it's different.
Yeah, it is.
I'm very
In a good way, yeah.
In a very good way, dude. I think people really resonated with it. This past Saturday, dude. I mean, my phone is still
Nice.
going off with people talking about it. It was a really good night. Sevilla was absolutely incredible that night. Foreign Bodies did an absolutely phenomenal show. Those are some bands I'm looking forward to playing with again in the future for sure, dude. Like I said, a lot of awesome talent coming out of Arizona, and I definitely think Don't Panic is something worth checking out.
I'll be there.
Come through, dude. March 11th at the Rebel Lounge. Dustin, thank you so much for this, dude. This has been so awesome. I hope you'll have me back, dude. Like,
I think we're gonna be doing.
Thank
a
you.
lot more, so.
Yeah, dude. Like, you're doing it right.
You're
doing it absolutely right, dude. And I can't wait to see what you do in the future. And we're gonna play some drums before I leave, though, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna play some drums, dude, and get to geek out a little bit, dude. Yeah, dude. Thank you so much, and I look forward to doing it again.
All right. Thanks, Ray.